God, man, I thought I was going to get a tan in Peterborough, you know.
Yeah, same me. I was kind of worrying about that too, but hey, guess I don't need one. But goodness, from what 38 degrees to half in a couple of days.
Oh my God, it was crazy, wasn't it?
Well, let's hope everyone's been wearing plenty of suntan lotion to keep themselves safe from the weather out there. So guys, we're bringing to you on Salaam Radio every Tuesdays at 5 p.m. our show, the Peterborough Property Guys. We are live on Salaam Radio on 106.2 FM. You can listen to us online by visiting salamradio.co.uk or watch the show on our streaming services by searching Salaam Radio on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram or Twitter. So plenty of platforms to actually watch us on. If you prefer mobile, however, please download the Salaam Radio app through the App Store or Google Play. Salaam Radio is always on air 24/7, 365, uniting all communities. You can also watch the repeat of the show if you missed the live by simply going on clicking Salaam Radio online. So today's guest for the show is Sam from Freedom Homes. Sam has previously working in London, so Sam will be sharing with us his experience in working in London compared to working in Peterborough, his time in London, and more or less the pros and cons of living in London and living in Peterborough. So that's going to be really interesting. So if you guys got any questions, then please do get involved in the show by dialing 01733 602 133, or you can text or WhatsApp on 07745 278 978. So guys, our main topic to be discussed today is Peterborough home owning movers and shakers in 2018. So Adam, before we go on to our main topic and the headlines, in fact, like what we like to do every week is tell our listeners why they should tune in every Tuesday to the Peterborough Property Guys.
Well, guys, we're bringing you all the local knowledge from local experts, local agents, homeowners, solicitors, you name it, we're bringing them to the show to get all that knowledge in one area for everyone, so you can listen to it while they're just driving home. You know, because knowledge really is the power in this game. You need to keep up to date with everything to keep ahead, otherwise you're going to fall behind. And we know how hard it is to keep up with all the latest legislation, all the market changes, even just the trends. So guys, right here you can find everything you need to know all in one condensed place for you.
Fantastic. Well, thank you ever so much for that, Adam. So before we go into the full details, here are some headlines for today's topic. Recent research from Denton House shows 25% more homes are for sale in Peterborough than a year ago. Are rental properties in your area looking better than your home? Is Peterborough becoming the future tourist city with the influx of the recent relocation to the city? So Adam, what's your thoughts on that, in fact?
Well, fun enough, like we've got Sam here right now. He's living the proof, eh?
Yeah,
we've got
definitely
more people relocating to Peterborough at the minute, it seems. And I've noticed, I don't know how other agents have noticed or other landlords have noticed, or even estate agents, we're getting more and more people moving across from different areas to Peterborough. It used to be different countries to Peterborough, I found, but now it's just people relocating across the country over here.
Definitely.
You know, and Sam's going to tell us a bit more about it later on as to why he made the move and what really sort of influenced him. But yeah, absolutely, so far it seems for the best from what he's saying.
That'd be interesting to hear at a late stage. So guys, if you're listening on Salaam Radio live right now, we want to ask you, do you think we're heading for another property bubble? We'd love to hear your thoughts on this question, so you can WhatsApp us on 07745 278 978, or in fact you can get involved on Facebook Live where we will be responding to your answers. So it's now commonly agreed amongst economists and the general public that the dramatic rise in Peterborough property prices for the last 6 years has come to an end. Adam, how true is this?
Well, as per always, the national press always has it about doom and gloom about the British housing market.
Yeah.
You know, it's always about increased prices putting a strain on the affordability for buyers, you know, and prices increasing faster than salaries are, which, you know, is true to an extent. You know, you've got developers who are struggling to keep up with the demand. You've got all the Brexit uncertainties over the last 2 years been putting a massive strain on the market as well. But yeah, in the last 12 months, or 12 and a half months, people have still been moving, they've been buying, they've been selling people at similar levels to the past 6 years.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it shows us the pure demand that we have in this area. And I always like to say that a lot of the market issues, like, you know, when prices go up, prices go down, is more market sentiment. You know, it's more hearsay, I find, in my opinion, that people just get scared, so they stall, which then has a dominoes effect. But then when people realise, you know, you've still got to have somewhere to live, don't you? And it suddenly starts moving again. So you have these little peaks and troughs in the market. But I mean, you know, is it another case of just bad news sells?
True.
Because, you know, the media hardly ever post anything good up. Because bad news does sell. So, I mean, the market, being bad.
Good point.
People like to talk about that. No one wants to talk about the market doing really good.
Interesting, really interesting. I mean, this year is quite interesting itself because we've got the Brexit still lumbering in the air. That's caused a lot of uncertainty. Do you reckon that might be the reason why, you know, the property prices are probably come to a standstill?
I think so. That's probably one of the main leading causes of it. Definitely. Because I know around about sort of between January and March this year, until it all got postponed again, I know my buys certainly were slowing down. I was slowing down myself as well, because to be honest, we were waiting for bargains after Brexit.
Yeah,
you know, because we want to make money when we buy. So it does have a massive impact. But I mean, let me show you exactly what's going on in the Peterborough property market.
Yeah, please do that. Yeah,
the last 12 months, most properties that have sold tend to be semis, you know, semi-detached. That generally seems to be our bread and butter in Peterborough, to be honest. And they went for an average price of around about 192,600. We had the terrace properties sold at an average price of 158,400, and detached properties averaging at 280,200.
Okay.
You know, now the Peterborough homeowner sector in 2018, that means like in homeowners in occupation. You know, like they're living at their home.
Okay.
1,400 households moved within the area, so they sold a house and they bought back again in Peterborough just in 2018. You know, we had 273 new households created, so that's first time buyers buying their first home.
Interesting.
You know, so that says a lot about it in itself. So they're all going somewhere. They've come from some either friends and family, either parents' houses.
Yeah. So let's break that down. I mean, let's look at the different kind of home movers last year. So in Peterborough, home movers in 2018, there's about 513 people moved from owner occupation to private rented, which is quite interesting. But what's even more interesting is 651 moved from private rented to owner occupation. 69 moved from owner occupation to social housing. 273 straight to owner occupation. 337 left owner occupation. And as you mentioned, 1,400 owner occupation to owner occupation. So there's some really interesting statistics. So what does this mean for Peterborough buy-to-let landlords?
It means going to get squeezed on the stock they can get their hands on, eh? With that many first-time buyers coming to the market, and that many people moving from rented to first-time buying properties, not only does that mean that the supply of tenants goes down gradually each year, which, to be fair, I don't worry about personally in Peterborough, because we always, like I say, we always have such a demand. But people come from all over the place, so I don't think that's a big worry for them.
Right.
I think it's more for them being able to keep getting the stock they need to get hold of. You know, because it does show a bit of bad news for them, because I mean 651 households that moved into home owning, you know, from the private sector, whilst on the other side of the coin, 513 households in Peterborough moved from private rented sector from owner occupation. Sorry, I got my notes all backwards here.
That's alright, mate.
Which appears on the face of it a reduction in the private sector. In my research calendar in 2018, an additional 679 new households in Peterborough private rental sector were created, and it's going to continue to grow. I mean, I know my landlords, in particular, always buying out into the sector, and we never seem to have an oversupply, more of an over-demand.
Absolutely.
So I really think it's about the product you bring to the market here. Now, I was just discussing with a homeowner actually next to one of my houses earlier that we look after for a landlord.
Okay.
How they recently sold up a few of their properties because they thought they see us as the height. So I said, well, it's not a bad idea, you know, selling at what appears to be the height. Obviously, you never predict the exact height, but we're in a good stead at the minute, aren't we? And now they're looking at what to do to reinvest that money, you know. And I was showing them the sort of examples of what's renting nowadays, and they couldn't believe it. They couldn't believe how high quality the product was for tenants.
Yeah. That really does fall nicely onto my next question, in fact, because I know what you do is slightly different to what a lot of other letting agencies do. So, on those bases, what advice could you give the landlords and investors of Peterborough to maximise on their return of investment?
Really, in this market, it's about standing out. You know, it's gone are the days where you can just paint a house white or magnolia, throw some bland carpets down, and it'll rent. I mean, everyone's still renting for a price. Don't get me wrong, but you're competing in a market now where everyone's done that for God knows how many years.
Yeah.
To really stand out. I mean, there's no shortage of tenants here, guys. So to stand out, you just need to place your product as a premium product. If you're not as a premium product, you're going to be competing on price, and no one wants to compete on price. You know, no one ever wins that game.
Do you feel the quality of houses attract the quality of tenants?
Oh, 100%.
Okay, so would a reasonable advice be to any landlord listening right now is, if you've got a property that needs a bit of work on it, add value to it, so you could not only attract the right tenants, but also, in fact, get premium rent.
Yeah, that's 100% my advice. I mean, I even do it at my own houses. Every time one of my properties comes empty, it always gets a refurb. And God, just yesterday I was walking down the street with about 1 million appliances, thinking it's nicer than what I've got at my own home. Far nicer. I didn't even buy myself any.
Yeah.
I just thought, this is what it needs. Even though we'd already pre-let it, we'd pre-let it on a basis of what they'd seen in our other properties. So, I mean, we could have just left it white and bland and, nothing really in there. But I said to Sam, because Sam's a negotiator for my agency, we're going to do this, this and this, because that's what we want to do. We want to keep long-term tenants and keep good tenants.
Sure.
And, we do charge fairly good rent. But they stay because we're competing against quite an average market at the minute.
Really interesting. So, to summarise, whatever is happening in the world with Brexit, Trump, China and the stock market, the people housing market is in decent shape for the medium to long term. If we do have small corrections in values in the next 12 to 18 months in the long term, house prices have always returned with vengeance. Like I said, to anyone buying a property, be they a first time buyer, landlord or homeowner, property is a long game, and if you play the long game, you'll always win. However, that's not true for all aspects in life.
No, property certainly is though, it really is. You play the long game. We're not looking to become rich overnight. I don't think any landlord's looking to become rich overnight. But if you keep your product good, and you keep that consistent across the board, and you put it in the marketplace time and time again, you'll keep winning.
Definitely.
There's always ups and downs, especially in the rental sector. And you get good tenants, bad tenants, good landlords, bad landlords.
Yeah.
But on the whole, I see people improving,
sure.
step by step. And I think working with the council massively as well has helped out with many landlords.
Okay.
I think many landlords and people didn't realise that that their houses weren't all meeting standard. And I think that bit of guidance, it's helped it, and it's helped the market as well massively. Now I was looking at prices today. We popped up some 1 beds and 2 beds on the market. From the last time we didn't many specialise in shared housing. They've gone up by £20-30 a month, which doesn't sound a lot, but when the rents are quite cheap in Peterborough, when you're talking like £500 rents, that's a hefty increase, nearly a 10% increase in rent. And straight away, within a minute of putting them up because they're high standard, we're getting inundated with messages.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That really does show you that people prefer quality instead of cheap rents.
Oh, they do. Because I mean, I always find the people who want a cheap place to live, it's like cheap anything. I mean, you pay cheap, you pay twice.
Correct.
Same with the quality of people coming through the door for the cheaper places. They generally tend to be the ones who are less stable, I find. Yeah. And harder to service as a client. Whereas the people who are there willing to pay that more for that better place, you get your less maintenance issues, you get your less tenant issues. They're happy, you're happy, the landlord's happy. It really is a win-win, and then the council's happy as well, which is what we've got to do, haven't we?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the council itself has had a huge impact in terms of how landlords provide quality properties, because as we know, in the last couple of years we've had a selective licensing that's been enforced, so that must have had a influence in terms of quality of properties, rent increases.
Oh, it definitely has. I mean, if you look at the rents over the last sort of 12 months to 24 months, they've flown up compared to what we were getting before. Absolutely shot up. And I say it's because the landlords are all pulling their weight now. It all seems like everyone's looking to up their game. I mean, I spoke to one of our HM officers we do regularly earlier, and they were just saying as well about how there's less and less landlords producing poor quality houses now because they can't be bothered with the headache.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can't bother with the headache, and they don't want the council chasing them down anymore either.
No, of course not.
So everyone wants a happy, peaceful life, and it just goes to show it's that premium product which brings that. Who doesn't want to get more rent for their property?
Absolutely. That's what it's really about, isn't it? I mean, that's why I think letting agents were previously branded as rent collectors, but now they actually, branded as return of investment advisors.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of are. I mean, I'm not a financial advisor by any means, shape or form, guys, but, in
the property game,
you have to,
you can.
We have to steer people in the right direction, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
We get countless people come to the door asking for advice and this sort of stuff. And again, they're gobsmacked. They come from outer areas, they are gobsmacked by what they're seeing in terms of properties. They really are. But when they see the rents it gets and they see the performance they get, and not only that, the increase in value in the home. All it takes, you know it's yourself, Kazafi, from staging a home, staging a home right, when you get a value back round, God, sometimes you add in 20, 30, 40,000 pounds onto the price of the home just from staging.
Yeah.
just 'cause it looks appealing. Because people lack imagination, I find, a lot of the time.
Interesting.
You know, it's no good promising them it's going to look like X, Y, and Z.
Mm.
Show them what it's going to look like.
Yeah.
Show them the finished product.
Super, fantastic. So, in fact, we've got Sam here, who's our guest for today's show. And Sam, in fact, works for a company called Freedom Homes, who, in fact, specialise in luxury properties.
Luxury shared accommodation.
Yeah.
I think they're pretty good as well, to be fair.
Yeah.
I don't know how I heard it.
Well, let's hear it from the horse's mouth. Sam, thank you for coming over.
Thank you for inviting me.
Sam, if you don't mind, tell us a bit about yourself as a property person, first of all.
Oh, okay, so I started off my property experience over in London.
Interesting.
It came mostly from what I did before. I was an actor beforehand.
Oh, interesting.
And,
wow.
I was getting
How
sent.
about that?
Yeah,
I know, you never guess, would you?
not at all. Not at all.
Come estate agent, eh?
Yeah, that's what happens.
We're
But,
hoping for a good performance today.
don't worry, you got it. I promise you that. But yeah, so I was getting sent over to London all the time anyway, because I'm originally from Northampton.
Okay.
And then I thought, okay, let's move over here. You know, I'm liking the place. I think this is a good place for me to settle down. Go over there, and I kind of got stuck a little bit on acting. It wasn't really happening for me, so I thought, all right, what can I do? You know, what's nice that relates to acting, but it's something that I actually enjoy. And then I kind of stumbled upon an estate agency. Really strangely, I don't really know how it happened. I just had an interview one day, got offered the job, and then that's it. Came into the game, and it all began from there.
Really interesting, because London is a totally different market compared to Peterborough. I mean,
Massively.
we're not too far apart. However, at the same time, London, you know, it's like a ripple effect. Everything starts from London, and then it affects the smaller suburbs surrounding London.
100%.
So, just your experience in the London markets. What did you actually specialise in yourself at that time?
So I was still a letting negotiator.
So you're
over
letting
there.
negotiator when you were in London.
Always
Okay.
lettings. Yeah, it's the faster side of life. Over there, sales is a slow aspect. I mean, wherever you go, you know, sales is a bit of a slower route. So I wanted the fast-paced
Yeah,
environment.
I always say lettings keeps you on your toes. With sales, it's always you got to keep.
The grind is real for sales.
Gotta
Put it
keep
that way.
absolutely, yeah, definitely. Okay, so how did you find lettings in London compared to lettings in Peterborough?
Honestly, it's not that much different. It's the properties are what's different. The tenants, the people that are looking for all the properties, they're not that different. You know, everyone has their specific needs. Everyone wants something different. You just have to tender to the right person, find them the right property, because there is a property for everyone. It's just the market is so much different over here to over there.
Right,
Like I was
okay.
having a chat with Adam earlier, and the prices for what I would expect a small little one bed to be over here,
Right.
to a small little one bed over there, it's absolutely ridiculous.
Okay,
You
so give us an
can't compare.
example. How much
So-
would a one-bedroom flat be in London?
So I'll give you my example. I lived in
Guys, I
London.
hope you're sitting down, by the way.
Oh, you'll need it.
This is Peterborough as well. We're going to die when you hear this price.
It was, the rent itself was 1,200 for
Wow.
a small one bed, and
Wow.
when I say small, it
Goodness.
was small.
Brutal.
You add everything on top. The council tax alone, it's probably what, a band A, band B. I think it was a band B. We're ending up paying nearly 200 a month for a band B, and that's just London council
Wow.
tax. Add everything on top of that.
Okay.
You have to pay for parking. It doesn't come with it. Underground parking, yes, still it's not worth 150 a month for underground parking. You're paying near 2k a month just for a little one bed.
Just to survive.
Yeah, exactly.
Let
You're
alone your travel
scraping.
costs.
Exactly. Everything on top, you're honestly scraping over there. And you come here, Adam was saying earlier, 550. I was like, 550 for a one bed? I still think that's too expensive. But it's not, as you were saying, the prices are coming up, but 550 is insanely cheap in comparison to London. It really, really is.
Wow. Guys, there you have it. That's like half the rent.
Yeah, if that.
But it's funny though. What I find funny about people coming from London, especially seeing it from Sam as well, is the perception of rents. They think when you're going to come to Peterborough, it's going to be really, really like give it away cheap. But I find people are often amazed by the price you actually charge in rents and in sales.
Yeah,
I think
no,
people
it's
get dubbed so cheap. Well, it's almost like up north price is cheap. And then people come over and goes, oh, when I show them the range of what they used to be able to get to buy, you go from what they wanted to spend, which is about 100 grand, and then actually show them what they actually wanted to buy, and it turns out it's 150, 160 grand.
That's it.
They're always gobsmacked as well.
Yeah.
So how fast would you rent a property in London compared to in Peterborough?
So over there, you'd probably do one deal every 6 viewings, but you'd have a lot more viewings. So you could smash out 1-2 a day, but the market, how competitive it is over there, in here you have your section of estate agents.
Okay.
You walk out your door,
Mm.
and I guarantee you see lettings boards everywhere, sales boards everywhere. You
Right.
walk down the street, all you see is estate agencies, and they're all fighting over each other. You know, everyone's got the same property up for rent, and yeah, you can rent them quickly, but over here it's a better market. You know, everyone comes to you, they're individuals, and not all against each other and cutthroat. Well, not as much anyway.
Interesting. Really interesting. So, how are you settling into Peterborough, first of all?
I think I'm settling in well. That's my manager's talk though, isn't it? More than me.
Well, what do you reckon, though, Sam? I'm interested in this, as I think the viewers would be. What can we learn from the London market?
That's a good question. You can learn a lot of things from it. You can learn how not to do it. You can learn how to be different from it, and I think that's the main thing. So, coming on board at Freedom Homes, I can see the difference in the properties. So over there, it's how you were saying, you've all developed from, you know, the basic. I think London, the problem is there's so much. To stand out in London is virtually impossible unless you have the AAA class, you know, of a property. Right. You're just not going to stand out. The market's just not ready for it over there. And then even when you do, you know, you have to be in central, and the prices they're outstanding. They're literally ridiculous.
So what are you doing different now compared to what you did in London? Because I know you're doing lettings now. You did lettings in London. What's different now? Because I know you're working for a company called Freedom Homes, and they specialise in luxury apartments. Is that correct?
Yeah, correct.
So, how are you finding that?
It's so much better, honestly. You get to spend more time with the clients. You get to actually engage with them and take them to different properties. You know, you're not exactly hoping for a one shot in London, but the amount of other people there are, you don't have to spend the time with the people. But it's getting to know the people and saying on the viewing, okay, this isn't what you wanted, this isn't what you wanted, but I know something that I do have, rather than thinking I have to get you in this one or you're not going to get anything else. So just the more time, and that means a lot to them as well as to us.
I think it's a really good point, you know, because I think being able to know your tenants by their first name makes a massive difference, you know, in all aspects of the renting experience for the landlord and the tenant. And that way, if something goes wrong, I find people are much more accepting of it, you know, because things go wrong in property.
Yeah,
Main issues happen. God, pipes burst overnight and flood our house. These things happen, you know, and it's out of our control. Whereas when, like Sam says, you get to spend that more time, that personal time with building that rapport with the client and the tenant, because they're our clients at the end of the day, the customers. You know, then they understand us more, we understand them more, and everyone's working on that same level. And I think a lot of places miss that. And I think it really you do have to have a bit of personal touch.
Absolutely. As the saying goes, people buy from people. It's all about giving, you know, your customers that customer experience. So, interesting. So far, what are the pros and cons? Because I know you've kind of briefly touched on them. Should we leave that after the break? The pros and cons of living in Peterborough, the pros and cons of living in London.
Yeah, I think it'd be quite good, to be fair. It'd be interesting for everyone to hear, you know, because everyone seems to like London.
Yeah.
But I won't spoil it for everyone. But Sam has interesting reasons for moving here. You know, it's like it's not what you'd expect. You know, it's like the grass isn't always greener almost.
No, exactly.
But again, Sam himself was a first-time buyer up until recently.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
And what did he buy?
Go on, Sam.
What do you think I bought?
A
Looking at me, what do you think I bought? No, I got a detached house.
Oh, wow. There you go. Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you.
And it was a new build.
Yeah.
Just like we were touched on the other week as well.
Yeah.
You know, first-time buyers tend to buy a lot of new builds.
Yeah, absolutely, because you've got the benefits there of getting the lower deposit. You've got the option of not paying interest for the first 5 years with Help to Buy schemes.
That's it.
So which scheme did you go for, by the way?
So we did go with the Help to Buy.
Help to Buy?
For 5 years, yeah.
5 years? Fantastic. It works out really well, doesn't it, to get on the property ladder, to have your own independence. So
massively.
Fantastic. Congratulations on that. So hopefully after the break, you could be explaining to us the pros and cons of living in London and the pros and cons of living in Peterborough. Even though you've been here for a short time, it would still be interesting to get to know your thoughts on that. So we're going to go on for a short break. In fact, we've got another minute before the break finishes.
You're getting too excited because I feel like trying to jump into the break already.
Yeah, goodness. I was actually looking at the wrong clock. I forgot to mention, Cassim always says look at the screen, not the clock, because the clock's always a minute ahead. So, but yeah, anything else that you want to touch upon before we go for a break?
No, just we've got some really interesting topics coming up, guys. Really, you know, I think again we're having Sam's perspective on the market, on the London market, the Peterborough market. we can learn a lot from the big boys over in London. You know, we always want to improve, we always want to up our game. You know, so they say if we're not growing, we're dying. You know, so let's grow. Let's grow, let's learn all we can. Again, like I say, that's what this show's all about. Bring that knowledge from all around to the table so everyone can learn.
Absolutely. And you couldn't find a better platform than the property guys.
Exactly, man. We do all the hard work for you, do all the heavy lifting and bring it into one place.
Exactly. All you guys have to do is
just tune in
and listen. Guys, on that note, see you after the break.
Stay tuned to Salaam Radio after this short ad break.
The masjid is a center of spirituality, education, and a social hub for the community. In the times of the Blessed Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, the masjid lay at the heart of society and was not just a place of sanctuary and prayer, but also a thriving educational institution. Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, is reported to have said, "Whoever builds a masjid for Allah, be it large or small, Allah will build for him a house in paradise." Sunnah al-Tirmidhi. The role of the masjid has always been instrumental in the educational, social and moral uplifting of the Muslim community. Please donate by visiting childrenofadam.net or call us on 0300 321 0032.
Had a car accident or an accident at work? Accident specialists are experts in no-win, no-fee accident claims. Leave the hassle to us. Our multilingual settlement experts will manage the entire claims process on your behalf, with nothing to pay up front. We provide services such as credit hire, taxi vehicles, recovery, storage and much more. For full details on our range of services and a free consultation, call us on 01733 555 774 or visit our office at 249 Lincoln Road opposite the NatWest Bank. Accident Specialists. Start your successful claim today.
If you're planning a boutique celebration, there's only one choice, Mumtaz Leeds. From boutique weddings to engagement parties, birthdays to work dues, with seating for up to 300 people, a perfect location and free car park. Plus we have a private dining suite for 80 people with a beautiful waterfront view. Pre-wedding teas, parties and breakfasts also available. Mumtaz Leeds. Call 0113 242 4211.
Salaam Radio is celebrating Eid and our 3rd anniversary. On Saturday the 17th of August, join us for a great day out for the whole family. Everyone welcome, all ages, all backgrounds, all faiths or none. 12 to 6 p.m, free entry at the Millfield Recreation Park. Enjoy barbecue food, other food stalls, ice creams, clothes stalls, funfair rides, bouncy castles, children's activities, sports activities, and much, much more. Salaam Radio will be broadcasting live from the event. So if you've got a talent and want to go on air, just let us know on the day at the Salaam Radio stage. For stall inquiries, please email info@salaamradio.co.uk. The Salaam Radio Summer Eid Festival, Saturday the 17th of August, 12 to 6 p.m. at the Millfield Recreation Park, opposite Occupation Road. Come, enjoy and celebrate with us to unite all communities.
Feel like some great tasting chicken tonight? Great meal deals, wraps, burgers and sides. We've got it all at Chicken Palace. Call and collect at 302 Lincoln Road on 01733 702 447 or 8 Park Road on 01733 343750. Chicken Palace, open 11 a.m. till late.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته وبسم الله. قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم خيركم من تعلم القرآن وعلمه. That the best of you are those who learn the Quran and teach it.
Broadcasting 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. This is Salaam Radio.
Hi guys, Assalamu alaikum, welcome back to Salaam Radio on 106.2 FM.
Play some music for us, Kaz. You didn't tell me you're going to treat us to that.
Yeah,
I
sorry
didn't know you
about
played the piano. Since
that.
when?
Sorry about that. Guys, welcome back to Salaam Radio on 106.2 FM. Before the break, we were talking about a couple of things. One was the moving and owning your home in 2018. Also talking to our special guest for this week, which was Sam from Freedom Homes, who was sharing his experience living in London, working in London in fact, and his experience working in Peterborough. So we're going to follow on that a little bit, and also at the same time we're going to be asking Sam, because he's recently bought his first property in Peterborough, he's going to be sharing his experience with us and his journey, and this will benefit our viewers and listeners on certain things to avoid and to be better prepared for when they're buying their next home. So guys, welcome back. Sam, if you don't mind, us just want to follow up on before the break, we were just asking you your experience working in London and working in Peterborough.
Yep.
And it was really interesting, in fact, listening to how different not only the rental prices are, but in terms how to, you know, they operate. So what we want to really ask you now is, what are the pros and cons living in London, and what are the pros and cons living in Peterborough?
Okay, cool. I'll put it in my perspective because I can't say for everyone.
Sure.
Some people, you know, London is their home. They won't leave it. They'll never leave it. It is their be all and end all.
Yeah, absolutely.
You've got easy access everywhere. That is London through and through. You walk out your door, 5 minutes away, you got transport.
Okay.
Downsides, and a lot of people don't realise this, if you drive in London, I'm not joking, you're 2 miles away, yeah? My work was literally 2 miles away, and it took me nearly 25 minutes to get there every single day.
Yeah.
Here, work for me is about 6 miles away, and I'm getting there in 10.
Interesting.
It makes a massive difference.
That's a huge con living in London,
It
and
is.
a huge pro living in Peterborough.
Exactly, and it really does make such an impact on yourself. You know, you finish work at, say, 7, you're getting back near 7:30, it just drags your day out even further. You don't need it to keep going that far.
Do you think it's London itself, or do you reckon it's the A1, the A14, the accidents that occur on the way?
It's London itself,
It's
honestly.
London itself.
It's all the times of the day, it's packed no matter what time.
Because I've got friends that commute to London, they commute to Cambridge, which is en route to London, and they all tell me it takes them, goodness, a very long time to get home, and by the time they get home, it's bedtime and they have to
Exactly. I've
get
done
ready
that
for the
life
next
as well.
day. So
Yeah.
interesting. So traffic being one of the main points, main cons, in fact, in living in London. What else would be? Let's have a pro now. What would be the pro in terms of living in London?
Pro of living in London, everything's on your doorstep. No matter what, everything's walking distance, 5 minutes. Literally everything you could ask for. That's a very good pro of London.
Wow. Anything.
Absolutely anything. Name something for me. Anything.
Chaiwala.
I was about to say, I wonder if they got a chai while I'm
Well, if I knew about it before Peterborough, they probably would, yeah.
You're missing out, mate. Missing out. This is why everyone moves it.
Got you there, didn't I?
Yeah, you
It's
did.
not the trains are the cheap prices. It's a chai while.
But we see where you're going with this, most definitely. Okay, that's a pro. Any other pro con that you want to mention? I'll give you the option.
Personally, for myself, pro-wise, I was not a city boy, so I don't really have many pros for London at all.
Your background, are you initially from a quiet city, small village?
Yeah, Northampton's pretty quiet. It's pretty remote, so yeah, a lot different to London.
Okay. I mean, I've been in Northampton and it's not too bad. I mean,
It could
not
be
exactly
better, but it could be worse.
it's not exactly a thriving metropolis.
No,
but,
no.
you know, it's
Apparently, live as Peterborough, though. You know.
Worst place to live in.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah.
hey.
But people still keep coming.
yeah.
They do, don't they? Fair enough.
Do you reckon it's because you can escape easy on the tube? And the train 45 minutes back to London.
It is. That's
You
one
ever
of the
get too
reasons I
depressed?
chose it. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, honestly, because it's only 45 minutes for my partner to get back to London if any time she needs to. Her family's over there. It's a really quick commute, so it
Okay,
works.
so that's a pro living in Peterborough. So a pro living in Peterborough, if you've got relatives, if you've got business in London, or if you want to visit London, you've got a train. Obviously, you can take a Virgin fast train, take you 45 minutes
King's
from
Cross.
Peterborough train station to King's Cross, which is absolutely amazing because, as you mentioned, a 2 mile radius takes you about 20 to half an hour more or less.
Yeah.
So
It's crazy. Isn't it?
45 minutes, you're literally getting from Peterborough, which is how many miles?
Oh god, the terrible job.
70,
70.
70 miles. So it's not too bad, is it?
But that makes us, makes me realise how much I moan about traffic. I remember Sam's first day. I said, "Oh, at 5 o'clock, you're going to be dying in this traffic, man." And then he come back the next day, and goes, "Was that it, Adam?" Yeah, it took me like 20 minutes to get home rather than 15.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Living in London, it's the capital, of course. It's always going to be busy. It's always going to be thriving. It's always going to be really, really. You're always going to get those really sticky moments in London. So compared to Peterborough, which is a lot more quieter.
Massive.
So what would be a con living in Peterborough?
Con of living over here.
Be careful, because you've got a lot of listeners
Oh,
and
no,
they're
of
from
course.
Peterborough. You don't want to disappoint them. Nah, just
No,
kidding.
for me, it's
It'd be
it's
good.
the
Good to
distance.
hear from your.
That's the only thing. So it's not that it takes time. It's just everything you have to drive around here. If you don't drive, you are really stuck. Because we're on the outskirts in PE4.
Right.
To drive in, it's fine. I've got a car, but for my partner, she can't just drive in. She has to get her license, go through all of that. Whereas I can just go everywhere. If I leave her at home, that's it. She's stuck at home.
Interesting. So transportation.
Yeah.
There was an article, in fact, about this. The lack of transportation. Peterborough has got one of the worst places for transportation.
Yeah.
Buses, etc.
Even the buses don't want to live here, clearly, eh?
But look, on the bright side, Peterborough is growing. There's so much happening. So let's hope that's something that's going to change. Something that we can discuss with our local councillors. Not sure how much that will have an influence, but
Oh, definitely.
You have to try nowadays,
They're spending
don't
a
you?
fortune on people, aren't they? They're spending a fortune.
yeah, absolutely, yeah.
And I know we're housing some contractors at the minute. And I asked them I always ask people what they're here for, what they're travelling here for. And they said they're redoing the John Lewis in the Queensgate Centre. Then after that, they got the contract to start building cinema over there.
Yeah,
And cinema's been talked about for years in Queensgate.
It has, hasn't it?
Years and years. Now literally it's happening. But it's all very quiet. There's no one's been out shouting about it. If it wasn't for my tenants, I wouldn't know.
I think people kind of given up on that dream because it's been talked about for so long. People are like, okay, we're gonna see to believe it. We want to see it. So Sam, we also understand before the break that you also purchased your first home. So congratulations on that once again. So if you don't mind, because speaking to you briefly, we know you've kind of had a interesting experience buying your first home. You bought a home by using the Help to Buy scheme, which has its benefits in terms of putting down a lower deposit, 5% deposit, which is better than giving a 10% deposit. You also benefit from not paying interest for the first 5 years. There is a caveat with that.
Yeah.
I was speaking to the fellas a couple of weeks ago, the mortgage advisors, they mentioned that to other viewers. So if you want to listen to that again, you could always watch that on Salaam Radio or Facebook. But please share with us your experience buying your first home, because it's really important, because we may have listeners who haven't bought their first home yet. So it's really important that they are better prepared. So please share with us, how was it like buying your first new home?
So first off, because from where I came from London, you're looking for your space. If you don't want to go to London, you've got to find where to go and where would be ideal of what you're looking for. I think we came across Peterborough. We looked at the show home, and obviously the show home is done up to absolutely immaculate standard. It looks, amazing, stunning. You get to see the plot that you could buy, and that's all you get. The problem after that is if you can't make it down, because I was working 6 days a week over there,
Right.
and then they weren't open on Sunday for me to come and have all the manager meetings and everything, so
Sure.
I can see my house being built. That's where all the problems start to come.
Right, okay.
So if I had come down, for example, during these times when I was meant to during the week, I would have seen that this needs to be done, this needs to be done, this needs to be done. So I think the best piece of advice I can give to anyone looking to buy their new home, especially if it's a new build, is go to every meeting, because you get to point out things that are wrong. So it comes to March when we're meant to move into the property, and there's so much wrong. Like, honestly, I had a list of over 72 things at one point, and they
Wow.
didn't believe me. They thought I was joking when I said 72. It was that bad. We couldn't move in until just over a month ago now.
So when did you initially take interest in the house? When did you initially put your offer in? When did it get accepted?
So we went for it in December,
Okay.
and then we got everything going from then. Did all the exchange, everything, and then just waited for the day for us to move in. Basically, it got brought forward. That's where another issue lied. Bringing it forward, it wasn't ready to be moved forward, so they rushed it. I think maybe they just wanted more numbers, to say they've built this many houses, but it just was not livable condition at all. So
Well, you mentioned that you moved in March, or you meant to move in March, didn't
Meant
you?
to be, yeah,
So
yeah.
that makes sense. April, end of the year, financial end of the year.
And that's what they were doing it for. They brought it forward for 1 month, but they probably just didn't do that on our one. They did it on everyone else's. But you have to go through legal battles with them. Got loads of compensation from it, and it's still not done. I've been there for a month and a half now. It's still not finished. There's loads of things that still need to be done with it, and they're not just little snags either. So
Interesting. It's quite surprising, isn't it? The fact that we've got shortage of houses in the UK overall, and at the same time the ones that are being built they're not really up to standards. I know recently a huge company, in fact a building company, got called back for not producing quality homes. In fact, a year down the line they were getting called back because they were getting damp issues or hinges were falling off. So really interesting. Really interesting.
I've seen some horrendous work in some of these new builds, honestly.
Mm.
Some of the brickwork photos I've seen online alone are sometimes enough to scare you off.
yeah, no, exactly.
Yeah, it kind of ruins that novelty factor, especially first time buys. It's like buying a new car or getting a new watch or something, isn't it? It's that novelty factor. You're buzzing, you want to go get in your new home. It's like unwrapping a big present,
That was it. Yeah,
and
yeah.
you walk in and you get slapped in the face with poor quality.
Yeah, we almost wanted to sell it. It was that bad. We
Wow.
got to the stage we were just going to get rid of it. So
Interesting.
So is that the pressure on the new home builders for the targets? To meet the targets from government targets, from the company's targets. Are they just trying to throw them together so fast to meet the numbers because we're so under demand here? We've got a lack of supply that they're just going all out to get them done, and then we're overlooking the quality on things.
that's literally it. But it's the people that live in these places, and it's, as we've probably mentioned before, it's recommendations get you everything. The people are who, you just said people buy from people. If people aren't trusted, then it's not going to go anywhere.
Yeah, it's a shame because it does really reflect poorly on the building company, doesn't it?
Yeah, massively.
It doesn't mean I didn't have anywhere near as traumatic experience as Sam, but I pulled out a massive defects list on my new build a few years back, and I just looked at it and went, no, there's nothing wrong with it. Cupboards dropped on the edge of the cupboards themselves, all sorts of stuff. They just didn't want to know. And lucky for me, I develop anyway, so it's not the end of the world. I can fix it. But someone like Sam, he's just coming from a different area. It's a traumatic experience anyway. Moving location, up in everything. To come in with his bags and step in that new home, thinking I'm finally made it, finally here. Big detached house. Well, going from an apartment in London, a one-bed apartment to a big detached house. It's got to be a good feeling.
Absolutely.
And you're walking in that.
Basically.
Interesting. So, Sam, you've been in the property industry for a few years now.
Yeah.
So, what do you think the Peterborough property market outlook is for the end of the year? Working in London, working in Peterborough now, what kind of feel have you got from what's happening and where the market is going?
So, a lot more people, not just in Peterborough, in London as well, a lot more people are now looking for properties. And surprisingly, you guys mentioned it earlier, they're looking to rent a lot more now because people can't afford to go and buy somewhere. So, it's competition for the landlords as well, because everyone wants the best quality they can get at the lowest price they can get. But it's what Adam was saying earlier, if you put the highest quality on somewhere, you're going to get the best caliber of tenant. If you put low quality, you're inviting the low quality to come to it. So I think what's happening in Peterborough, I think everyone's slowly raising their quality game. And that's what's going to happen. You're going to bring a lot more people from all these areas that are looking to move out of London, for example, because they can't afford it. They'll come over here and they'll see that, look, it's London standard, but it's not London prices. And that's what's happening with an area like Peterborough.
Interesting. You mentioned affordability is one of the key factors why people are turning to rental. What is it that they cannot afford? Is it the deposit, or is it...
It's a bit of everything. So for me, deposit wise, you question it. It's a big sum of money, especially for first time buyers. You think, should I be doing this? Is it the right time? You question a lot of things. Whereas for rental, in a way, it's not your responsibility. It is. You've got to look after the place, to get your deposit back. But a deposit can be as little as 400. So if you lose 400 compared to losing 20 grand, it's not the worst thing in the world, and it's not your home. You can ring someone, say, a tile fell off, can it be replaced? Yeah, sorted. I don't know. Someone's on my drive, get them off, sorted. When it's your own house, you have to sort everything. You have to take a lot more time over it, a lot more care over it.
Absolutely.
And it's just all those things adding up.
So working for a company in London and now working for a company in Peterborough where they deal in luxury homes, what advice would you give letting agencies to improve themselves?
I would say don't take any property. Take and give honest advice when you're having that initial walk round for any letting agent. Don't just say, oh, it's a lovely property, I love this, love this, love this, and ignore the little things in the corners,
Right,
because
okay.
you see them. But if you mention that, the landlords will thank you for it and for being honest. They'll appreciate that more, and the honest advice you give, it builds that relationship. Whereas if you come back to them in 3 weeks of doing, say, 20 viewings, and you say, oh, this needs to be changed, everyone picked up on it, they'll be like, why didn't you say that at the start? We haven't touched it, we haven't changed it. And then you're asking them to spend all their money on their property. If you outlay that initially, they're going to have that trust in you.
Not to mention the loss of rent they've had in that 3 weeks. You know, like Sam said, he hit the nail on the head there. I mean, we turn down as a company more landlords than we take because of that reason. You know, we give them an honest list of what they need to do to meet the standards that we see the fit as the market is calling for. And if they're not willing to do it, we wish them farewell. You know, best of luck, but it's not a game we want to play.
Absolutely, because ultimately it does really reflect the company. As you mentioned, you've had a bad experience with your Help to Buy building company. It does not reflect nicely on them. You're probably not going to recommend them to anyone.
No, definitely not.
For your experience. And similarly, if you're going to be renting a property out from a letting agency, and if they're going to be giving you property that's going to be below living standards, then surely that's going to reflect on the letting agency. So I guess it really comes down to due diligence and just really making sure that you're educating your vendors and your landlords to get them to give properties in good standards. And as Adam mentioned earlier on, he rents out properties that are in better condition than he lives in himself. And obviously Adam's bought a new build, so I can't imagine it being too bad. But that's really good. The fact that you want someone to live in a better condition than what you're living in, it really does epitomise good business values.
So true, and like I say, it reflects across the brands. A lot of these agents, that's all they need to do. Be more cautious and protect their brands more, and people will come. I mean, the amount of lets that we've done this month, just off the back of Sam, because he's seen the difference. He's taken his London sort of mindset of it's fast moving, it's hustle and bustle, got to keep going, got to keep it going. And he's come over here in a market where most agencies, most landlords are playing on quite that average level, and he's blitzed it. I mean, done like 25 lets in a month, single-handedly by Sam.
Wow, brilliant, Sam! Congratulations on that, mate. Smashing it, aren't you?
I try.
Are you smashing it in London too?
Yeah, I was doing pretty well in London. Obviously, I'm competing against a lot more people, but I still think I was doing well.
Super.
Makes you wonder if we get like small town syndrome here, right? Like we're a big fish in a small pond. Whereas when you've hustled and bustled in London, where you're nearly always going to be a small fish in a massive pond.
That's it.
You've got to fight for every sale you can get. As here, you just up your game a little bit, and you fly.
Yeah.
I'm sure you found it with your sales business as well, Kazafi. Because you do things a little bit differently as well from what I've seen. You don't follow the norm traditional estate agent. You do the modern approach to the marketing with the selling and the negotiating, and you achieve like crazy price compared to a lot of agents. I've seen your sold listings. And it's all about taking that modern approach to things.
Absolutely, I believe it really is about giving honest advice, as Sam mentioned earlier on, and a lot of vendors. What I've noticed, a lot of agents, they want to give you information that you want to hear instead of giving you honest advice, worrying that they're going to lose your business. And it's not always true. You're better off giving honest advice, taking on honest business, which works out in your favour at the end. I mean, at the moment, as I was speaking to you earlier on before that, currently we're achieving 100.9% of the asking price, compared to a lot of the other estate agents that are achieving about 95-96%. That's like 5-6% in monetary value. That's massive.
And these all agents have been around a long time, aren't they?
Yeah, absolutely.
It shows they're probably stuck in their ways a little bit.
100%, yeah. And I remember having this discussion with you previously in terms of, recently, it's been about a year, started my company, and because it was like a fresh company, so I needed fresh ideas. I wasn't stuck in my old ways, so I was looking for new ideas and new people to learn from. And I think what I bought in this time around was much better than what I was doing previously. So I think definitely when you're stuck in your old ways, you can't actually innovate and improvise on your company.
So would you say it was a blessing to be able to start from scratch then and see the modern way?
100%, absolutely. One thing I've learned, and obviously a lot of people, in fact, you see, when you're working in the business and working on the business, they're two different things. I mean, you're doing both at the same time. It really makes it difficult for you to think and look outside the box. So it's really important. And next week, in fact, we've got a really exciting guest coming on, so he'll be able to shed some light on this too. Being able to manage your business in a correct way is as important. Working in a business and running a business are two different things. So if you could really get them both right, then you could have a really successful business.
Definitely, totally agree. And I think what many people don't realise is property is a business. Even if you're a landlord just 1, 2, 3 properties, you're in business. It's got to be treated like a business nowadays. It's not. I ain't gone are the days of just letting a house out. Just your partner's elder house. You don't need it anymore because you moved in together. You're in business. The minute it happens, you're in business now. You're competing against the rest. Even though it's just private landlords, you're still competing against them. You have a product you're selling. And whether you're renting it, you're trying to sell it, you have a product, and you gotta meet the market's expectations, haven't you? And I think as time goes by, them expectations are growing and growing. I see from just even investors coming to the market now. They want higher returns nowadays because they've got to spend more money on property. Which then when I tell them they've got to spend even more money on the property to get to the standards that we need it to get that money, oh my god, they nearly die. when I say, congrats, you spent X amount on a house, it was more you expected, well now your refurb's almost double. But it's got to be done and the ones are going to stay. Now I see all the government changes, all the council changes, all the tax changes especially, squeezing the smaller landlords, squeezing the smaller homeowners out. They're looking for more portfolio landlords, more corporate structures, more professional bodies. So rather than the guys of 1 or 2, they're looking for educated landlords, professional landlords who are going to hold quite a number of properties. So I wonder if we're going to see more and more investors team up together. Big developers, big portfolio landlords team up together and combine rather than compete. Is safety in numbers nowadays? Is that the way it's going to go?
It's interesting you mentioned that, because nowadays a lot of landlords, investors in fact, they get criticised for scooping up the market. I've had a lot of first time buyers or even buyers in general complain to me saying a lot of investors have outbid them in certain properties, that it's made them difficult to buy property. So it really is interesting. You mentioned the fact that you mentioned this, because our next topic for next week is going to be 7 reasons why Peterborough buy-to-let landlords shouldn't be criticised. So that's going to be an interesting topic.
When you say that, about investors outbidding you and stuff like that, but I purchased one just last week, which sat in the market 6 months and no one had bought it. No one had bought it because the way we work and the way we style the properties and the rents we get, it worked for me. And because of it sat there for so long, we was able to be a bit creative with the purchase as well. It benefited the vendor, benefited us. Everyone was a winner. Even the agent was a winner. So I think the view on landlords is very sort of blurred, very blurred.
Fantastic. Well, look, it's great to have the show today. We had a break last week. Sam, before we kind of wrap this up, you've been in Peterborough for a short while.
Yep.
Tell me one thing that you love about Peterborough so our viewers can listen to.
One thing I love is being able to drive the way I like to drive. That's the best part.
There you have it. Fantastic. Well, look, our time is almost up. Thank you very much for tuning in today, guys. If there is anything that you would like us to discuss about the Peterborough property market, you can WhatsApp us on 07745 278978, or just comment on Facebook and we'll be able to pick it up and respond to you guys. So I just want to talk about our guest for next week. Our guest for next week is a very prominent figure within the community, also a very successful individual. It's going to be the one and only Suki Waiwala, who is an international multi-award winning entrepreneur, business coach and mentor, official Forbes investment judge and TED speaker who has impacted 37,000 individuals. He has harnessed 7 generations of business success to share his personal strategy in managing multiple businesses for maximum impact and productivity without the overwhelming or distractions of today's fast life. So that's going to be really interesting to have him on the show. He's also a very big buy-to-let landlord, so to have him on the show is going to be absolute privilege. So make sure you tune in, guys. We're going to be discussing with him 7 reasons why Peterborough buy-to-let landlords shouldn't be criticised. So guys, you can rewatch this show on Facebook and YouTube, or alternatively by visiting my blog page, which is peterboroughpropertyblog.com, or search Kazafi Sadiq on Facebook or LinkedIn, where you can read plenty of articles about the Peterborough property market. From myself and Adam, thank you for joining us today on Salaam Radio. Until next time, same place. We're your Peterborough property guys. Thank you for tuning.
Stay tuned to Salaam Radio after this short